So the craziest thing just happened, or as my brother-in-law put it, that is definitely the weirdest Monday I've had in a few months or a few years. I went to pick up the bike, the Schwinn that I'm using for this bike across Oregon at a local bike shop here in Clackamas, and they're closed on Sundays. I just got to town on Saturday night, so this was the first opportunity we had to go Monday morning. And we get there, and the bike shop is closed, even though the bike hours on the door say it should be open, which was also a concern because I had called the local news and invited them to come join me when I get the bike as a great way to get some press for the bike across Oregon, and the local Fox affiliate showed up. So we're here with the local news, the camera is rolling, and we don't know why the bike shop isn't open and we can't get the bike that I need to do this bike across Oregon. And I tried calling a bunch in the morning to let the manager know the news would be coming, and nobody answered, so we just showed up. We look around the back of the building, and there's a door that's open, and there is a dog on a chain guarding the door who seems pretty docile, but we don't want to risk going in this back door. And as we're walking around the shop, somebody from the neighboring restaurant calls me over, and he's like, "What's going on?" I explain the situation. He's like, "Dude, this is not a bike shop. This is a front for a crack dealership. Like, there's people here random hours of the night. Like, they're not here to buy bikes. This is a front for drugs." He's like, "My girlfriend owns this restaurant. I'm here all the time. I see all the crazy stuff that goes on here. At 3 in the morning, they'll like bring bikes out and power wash them." And anyway, I'm like, okay, do I trust this guy or not? Then the people on the other side of the bike business, we talk to them, and they're like, "Oh, dude, this isn't a bike business. Like, these are all crackheads. Like, this is a front for drugs. You're not getting your bike." So the news is there, and meanwhile, the guy whose girlfriend owns the restaurant, he calls the cops because he's like, that back door means someone's in there. Maybe they've broken in. We don't know. So the sheriff shows up. He starts to walk towards the door. He sees someone, and they slam the door shut. He can't go in without probable cause. And the fact that the dog like came in made him think that that these weren't people breaking in, because the dog was like the shop dog or something. And so the sheriff couldn't go in. So we wait around for a while. We bang on the front door. We're hoping that somebody will show up. And my brother-in-law notices that there's a Schwinn bike box in the recycle bin. So I go over, and sure enough, it's the box for my bike that I'm supposed to be riding. But my bike was built, 20 days ago was when I got an email from my contact who had heard from the shop that my bike was built. So 20 days ago, my bike was built, but the box was just sitting in the recycle bin, which the guy next door said recycling comes once a week. So I confirmed the serial number on the box was my bike. And at this point, we take the box because I need some proof that this bike is mine, and that maybe the cops then with the bike box can come in and enter the building. We don't know. But my brother-in-law was like, "Let's just get some lunch and let's park across the street and see if anybody comes out." So we go get some food, and we come back, and there is someone with 8 or so red heart balloons on a bike near the door. So we roll up, and we're like, "Hey, can you help us? We're trying to get our bike." And the guy's like, "Oh, I was just in there. Somebody like has a hole in their lung, and it's someone's birthday. I need to go get something, but I'll be back in 10 minutes and I can let you in." And then he voluntarily goes, "I'm not a crackhead," and then bikes away. So the the boyfriend of the girl who owns the restaurant comes over, and he's like, "That guy's not coming back. I've been watching this place since you guys left. Like, people have been coming in and out. There are people in there." So we park somewhere where we can see this door, and about 15 minutes later, somebody comes out with a bike box, a cardboard box, throws it in the recycling bin, where there previously had been only one other box for my Schwinn. And I'm thinking, okay, they've got another bike they built in 3 weeks. That's good. So we roll up, and we start talking to somebody who's got a sling on his arm and a hole in his arm, like not bleeding, but it was a hole. And we ask if they have the Schwinn bike, and he says, "Oh yeah, we have the bike. And I said, well, it's mine. We're here to pick it up. And I showed him my shirt, and he goes, well, how do I know you are who you say you are? Which is a good point. And so I started pulling up the email from my contact at Schwinn who had ordered the bike, and I say her name, and he was like, oh, and he runs inside to go get it, comes out with my bike, talks about how he loves Schwinn's. It was such an honor to get to build this bike, and that he was so excited to see a Schwinn all-carbon bike. And this sort of checks out because we had heard for weeks that the bike owner, the shop owner, like really loves Schwinn, and their dad loves Schwinn, and they've got a bunch of vintage Schwinns in the shop, which we can't verify because we can't get in. So anywho, we got the bike. We think that maybe what happened is somebody inherited the bike shop who doesn't really know how to build bikes, and knows someone who does know how to build bikes but has a drug problem. Hence why the bike shop isn't really open. No other bike shop in town would build this bike because they're so busy because of COVID. They just like don't have time. And now it makes sense why this one bike shop, after we called a bunch of other bike shops, was willing to do it, because it's not really a real bike shop. Like, it doesn't keep regular hours. Anyway, we were just happy to get the bike. The guy next door basically was like, your bike is gone. It's been sold for drug money. Like, you're not getting your bike. So I have my bike. I need to inspect it and make sure it was put together correctly. But that's what happened today. As my brother-in-law said, definitely the weirdest Monday in the past few months or the past few years.